Good morning, you beautiful bunch of fuckers, and welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. It's actually December, Monday, December 1st. Where did this year go? We are here live. It's time for some industry insights. My co-host is here with me, Brent Hutto. We will get to your calls. We're going to do something a little different this morning. I didn't tell Brent about this, but Brent and I are going to sing duets until you start calling. So you should probably pick up the phone. Before we get to that, I do have some announcements. It is Cyber Monday. They are expecting to set some records today. We'll see what happens. You know, we set records almost every year with Cyber Monday, but almost every year that just offsets what isn't sold on Black Friday. More and more people shop online each year. So the fact that Cyber Monday sales go up every year doesn't necessarily tell us what's really going on with the economy. So we'll talk about that. Phone lines are open. Jump in and join us. 855-950-3835 or hit that call now button on your app. We also have a Cyber Monday special. We're making it really easy. We hit the easy button on this one. Gift cards are 10% off. You can't go wrong with gift cards. We have a lot of great stuff in our store. So get somebody or a bunch of somebody some gift cards, 10% off. You don't need a code. Just grab a gift card and check out. Also, there are a couple of holiday fuel boxes left over. You got to go check that one out. There's a great box the team put together. Sounds like we have some of those left over. So head on over to letstruck.com, get your gift cards, get your fuel box. And Wednesday, I'll give you a little preview. Wednesday, I'm going to be doing on Destination Health. I'm going to be talking about the benefits of infrared sauna. Just read a really big, in-depth report on the benefits of infrared sauna. Interestingly, many of the benefits come specifically from far infrared, which is what the sauna blanket is. And the sauna blanket is awesome in the truck. Now, here's the thing. You would think that doing the sauna once a week would benefit you, and I'm sure it does. But the benefits really show up when you use it 4 to 7 times a week. That's what the study shows. So I'll be talking about that on Wednesday. You might want to grab a sauna blanket as a Christmas gift as well. All right. What else do we have? I think that should do it. Brent and I are going to start singing duets because I don't see any calls yet. Brent, you got your voice warmed up this morning?
Well, I can sing whatever you want. I mean, last time I sang on your program, you told me not to anymore.
Well, yeah, I tell myself I shouldn't sing on the show either, but once in a while, you got to threaten them with something.
I agree. We got to get some callers, man. Come on, it's Cyber Monday. I like your point. It's amazing how we've turned purchasing into almost holidays. And which kind of shows you how phenomenally wealthy America is when we can turn actual purchasing days into holidays.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
So, pretty fun.
Yeah, and we weren't happy with one. Yeah. We had to have 2.
No.
Right. We always
have
more.
Multiple, yes.
Right. Right.
Yes, of course. Well, nothing like I think we have an addiction to purchasing things, which I get it, and that's a luxury we get to enjoy in America.
Not only that. The people listening to us right now and you and I combined also benefit from all of that purchasing stuff.
No, for sure we do. Yeah. I mean, that's how goods get moved. We like when things are purchased.
Technically, we benefit more than anybody as an industry because we move everything. We move all the raw materials needed to make the stuff. We move the stuff. We move stuff in every industry. So, I guess we should be thankful for consumerism.
Well, I think to me, I'm thankful for freedom. I'm thankful for free speech. I'm thankful for things that allow individuals to endeavor to accomplish the greatness that's inside of them. In other words, go chase your dreams, man. So to me, that's what gives us the ability to have this consumeristic a point of view in our lives, is because we have when you work hard and you're kind to people and you deliver on what you say you're going to do. It's amazing how successful you can be.
There you go.
It's just amazing. There you
go.
Yep.
Yeah, we do have that opportunity here, and that is something to be grateful for. Here's another reason I need calls today. In my mind,
come on.
I was going to get up this morning and do some research, and I had a theme and a topic all figured out. I wanted to cover the tax law changes that occurred in the big, beautiful bill, because nobody really talked about them.
Well, that sounds riveting.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Holy cow, did they complicate this? I did all the research.
Did they?
And I had
maybe you should talk about it. Yeah,
I had all the research sitting there so I could, get my head around it and figure it all out and know what's happening. And I started reading it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I really, really wish we could get a fair tax. I hate the way we manipulate the tax code over and over and over. And this one is, and I have to say it because in 2017, whatever that I forget what we called that tax law change, I praised that one up one side and down the other. I thought Trump did a really nice job of turning some things around in the tax code that needed fixed. And I thought it was a really good direction. Now, one of the things that did happen in the big, beautiful bill, and this is another one of my pet peeves about our tax law changes, is we write these temporary changes. That makes me even more crazy. It's already complicated enough, and now we have to remember what's permanent, what's going to end sometime, what's going to sundown. The good news is some of the best tax law changes from 2017, the pass-through for small businesses, those things were made permanent. But even that's deceiving because how permanent? The next administration can change them.
True.
Yeah, so it's really bad when they're definitely temporary and we know they're going to end, but nothing is permanent. We go back and forth depending on who's in office. Some of these things are good, some are okay, some make me crazy. Here's one. They are the whole where Trump really went off the rails this time is all the no tax on this, no tax on that. You're just picking winners and losers. No tax on overtime. Well, guess which industry doesn't get paid overtime?
Let me think. Transportation.
By definition, every driver works overtime every week.
Yeah, and they can't. How did they get? By the way, I'm curious. Maybe you know this. How did our industry allow that to be considered a standard? Like you don't get paid overtime. You just have to work your what off in order to get by.
I don't know. That I've read, and this is where it gets confusing. Somehow we got lumped in with aviation on a lot of things.
Well, that's that FAA thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every time I see that, my eyes glaze over because I can't understand it.
Yeah.
But we're always thrown in with some crazy big set of rules from the FAA. But so by how many drivers work 40 hours a week? Almost none.
Almost none.
Almost
they
none.
Can you work 40 hours a week, get enough miles or get enough hours, however you're compensated, for you to create a living?
Almost
never. Can you?
No, almost never. Which is another thing we don't ever really compare. We look at drivers' pay and compare it to everybody else. Oh, well, the average driver makes $65,000 a year. Well, yeah, but the average driver works 60 hours a week, not 40.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same at all. But so drivers are not going to benefit from the no tax on overtime. Why did we highlight that? Well, it's just so random to me. And then no tax on tips. Well, the whole tip situation is a mess anyway. But
Well, don't get me started on tips.
Exactly.
Don't get me started on tips. No, Kevin. If I go up to another freaking, I gotta stand at the counter, order my crap, and somebody does this. Somebody, they're over there doing this. I'm all here. This is their activity. Okay, can you give me a tip now?
Exactly.
Here, tip. And they turn around in your face and they go, "Can you give me a tip?" And look, here's the thing, Kevin. It's not 10% anymore.
Oh no,
it's 18%. And I just tell people, I go, look, unless I'm sitting down and you're bringing me my food, you get no tip whatsoever. I'm not doing it. I think it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Let's even talk about that. Everybody has a job to do. Why are servers tipped? And now, here's another thing that makes me a little crazy, and a lot of people don't understand this. I grew up in a state where there was a separate minimum wage for people who received tips. How did we even pick that? Like, who says these people get tips?
That's crazy.
So it was really only servers
avoiding the tax,
in restaurants, because there's lots of other occupations that get tips quite often, bellhops, but they got the normal minimum wage. So we were made to feel guilty because servers get paid so little by minimum wage standards that they need tips. Well, I have a huge problem with that, but what a lot of people don't know, I happen to live on the border of two states that do not have a different minimum wage for servers. The minimum wage is the minimum wage, and it's significantly higher than the federal minimum wage. I think the minimum wage up here now is like $12 or $13 in Oregon and Washington, and servers get paid that. But we still feel guilty like we're supposed to tip them 20%.
Well, here's my thing. And look, and some people may think I'm not as kind as I should be. And I've got my sign up here. We'll see if I can point to it. Be kind always. So here's my thing. People take a job somewhere and they agree to that pay at that job. Why is it my responsibility as a consumer of whatever that item is? Why is it my job to sustain their life in their wage that they earn? Now, why is it my job? It's not. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's my job. I just don't. And not only that, the amount that you're paying for the item that you're buying at that place, it's not discounted. There's no discount on it.
No.
And so this is where I'm baffled by this whole tip-happy culture that people want to live in. They want to get a sustainable wage working at a coffee shop. It doesn't work. That is an entry-level job. You're supposed to be graduating to more skill-based jobs where you can make a living on. Serving coffee is not a skill.
And
so, anyway, people probably get mad at me about that.
Well, and I'm actually a pretty good tipper because I do like to help people, and I feel blessed. But it gets to the point where you're just being taken advantage of now, and it's a horrible system, and it needs to change. And if people are getting paid what they should get paid, whether they're a server or not, the way they do in Oregon and Washington, then I feel like, you know what, I may tip if I get really outstanding service, just because I appreciate somebody was really nice and went above and beyond. But that should be completely voluntary. Now you feel like you have to tip somebody whether you got decent service or not because they get paid so poorly in some states. That's not the case here.
Here's my thing. We're encouraging the wrong behavior. And here's why. And this is my whole philosophy on this. My philosophy on this is that people have great talent inside of them, incredible talent. They can do incredible things and accomplish wonderfully. I said this in my opening salvo to you here. When you are enabling them to stay at this minimum level because you're paying them an extra 18% on top of what you're paying for the item, you are enabling them to stay at mediocrity for the talent that they have inside of them to accomplish big things.
Good point.
And to me, That is a you are actually
You're hurting people.
You're encouraging them. Well, yeah, I mean, they're just not accomplishing the talent that's inside of them.
Right.
Look, I go to lots of coffee shops, and I love getting coffee. I think when I get good service, that's fantastic. By the way, I expect good service because I'm paying $5 to $8
for coffee. Right.
Okay. Okay. So I expect great service. And by the way, I'll walk into some of these places, and they're giving them health care for a part-time worker, and they're giving them college tuition. I'm like, wait a minute. Is all my money going towards that?
Yes.
Is that why my coffee went from like $5 to $8 because of the tariffs and everything else? I just don't understand it, and I just don't think it's my job to encourage people to stay in a minimum wage type position because they think they can have a sustainable life wage against it. I just don't think it's healthy for our country. I don't think it's healthy for the individual.
You know, the first time I came across this and why I know about it here in Oregon and Washington, when my son Michael was a lot younger, Michael went to a very expensive culinary school. The 18-month program, 5 days a week. Yeah, 5 days a week, 18 months, lots of money. He worked really hard at it, got very good at it. When he came out here, and his wife, who was young, 20, 21, Michael was a couple years older, even though you come out of that really expensive culinary school, you go to work for peanuts in a kitchen somewhere. You've got to prove yourself, which is fine. I get that. Not a problem at all. Yeah. So he wasn't making a whole lot of money, not much at all, barely above minimum wage when he started. Right. His wife, who had no real training on anything, was a hostess and a server, and she made significantly more money than he did because of tips. She got the same minimum wage. It's not one of those states where the server gets a lot less and has to make it up in tips. And it was crazy to me that that's the way the system worked, that the person who spent all the money had the skill significantly more than somebody just hired with no skill to wait on tables, which is fine. But the pay was so out of whack, and it was all because of tips.
Do you know another industry that this is going to shock you? I may have said this to you before. This is going to shock you. You know another industry that has the same, you got to prove yourself and you start at the bottom and you don't make much money?
Which one?
And it's going to shock you. It's going to shock you because you brought it up. You brought up the industry when we were first talking. The airline industry for pilots.
It's ridiculous how little they get paid.
Hey, Todd, they are flying you through the air at 400 to 800 miles an hour, and they're the entry level guys don't make a lot of money.
I'm sure it's changed a little bit now, but within the last decade, starting pilot. Now they were put in the puddle jumpers, the little, smaller regional planes is where they start, but they were making the starting wage was like $23,000 a year. It was ridiculously low.
Awful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you look at the cost of flight school, not only do you have to pay for your it's worse. Not only do you have to pay for all that education, but then in every level of plane, you need so many hours. And the only way to get those hours is to go rent a plane and pay an instructor to go with you during those hours. And then when you move up in plane, you got to go rent a more expensive plane and hire a more expensive instructor to go with you to get your hours. And then they come out and make $20,000 a year.
I know. Pilots are a lot like truck drivers. And I know this because I have a cousin who is a pilot. And he works for Delta and does very well now. Now, he's my age, so he's around 57, 58 years old. But I found this out. I met a pilot when I was in the mountains of Idaho, and I was talking to him, and he was talking about pilot and pay and the industry. I'm looking at him, and I go, I'm in the trucking industry. It sounds just like truck drivers. I said, but it costs you a lot more to get your certification than it does a truck driver. And I said, so why do you do it? And he answered just like a truck driver, Kevin. He goes, man, I love
I
flying.
love flying.
It's just like a truck driver. They love driving a truck.
Yeah.
Truck drivers love driving a truck. So given if you ask them if they would do it again, same career, absolutely. They love it. So part of it is just the desire to want to do it, and I get it. That makes sense. But what tough situation.
Yeah. So this started with the whole big beautiful bill thing. Here's another one that makes me crazy. And again, some of these are temporary, which makes them even worse.
Okay.
You are now allowed to deduct interest on a new car. Why?
I remember you saying this. Yeah.
But here's the thing. This one's temporary. Wait a minute. I'm starting to see 7-year car loans. You're encouraging.
That's not good.
There's another thing. Let's look at this. Almost all of these, every one of these deductions has a limit on income. So at some point, if you make too much money, whatever they determine too much money to be, you no longer get this tax break. Well, let's think about this one.
Oh, really?
There's a limit on I forget what the limit on it's so complicated. That's why I thought I was going to have all this figured out. But once I started reading it, I was shocked at how deep and complicated this all is. So I don't have it all kind of memorized, but at some point, I think it was like 100,000 a year is where the cutoff started, that you no longer get to deduct some of these things. Well, let's take the car loan specifically. So now what you're doing is you are encouraging the very people who should not be buying new cars in today's market to go buy a new car, because you only get the deduction on a new car, and you only get the deduction if you make a certain amount of money or less. Now we're encouraging people to go buy cars they can't afford, take 7- and 8-year loans to pay for them, and their tax deduction is temporary. But nobody understands all that. What they'll hear is, and the dealers will take advantage of this. Oh, well, of course you should be buying a new car because you get $10,000 off in interest deductions. Except they're temporary, and you shouldn't be paying this much for a car anyway because you really can't afford it. We manipulate the tax code for so many reasons, and all of them are wrong. We influence behavior with the tax code.
Oh, sure we do. I mean, it's always that. I mean, look, how many businesses, big businesses, when they come into a state, say they work with that state governor, and they say, hey, how long are you going to allow me to not pay state income tax or state tax, in order to bring my business to your state? No, we'll give you no state tax for 10 years. It's like, okay. So I mean, it's manipulated all the time for business. Yeah,
except the minute I move into that state, I have to pay the tax.
Well, hey, you're not enough big business, Kevin. You're not big enough business.
Do you know what one of the most confusing issues for businesses is when it comes to taxes? What one of the most complicated and confusing parts of the tax code for a business is depreciation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Almost nobody really understands it. Here's something that nobody seems to talk about. There's something we used to talk about all the time when I did taxes called a Section 179 deduction. And in essence, what the Section 179 deduction is makes the depreciation rules kind of null and void. So depreciation basically says, we don't care how much you just paid for something. Let's use a truck as an example. Even if you paid cash for it, you took $200,000 out of your money and handed it to the dealer for this truck, you don't get to deduct it all this year. You have to take that deduction over, technically it's 4 years. It's
4 years, right? Yeah.
It's a 3-year schedule, but that happens in 4 tax years because we needed to complicate it even more. Let's call it 3 years, but we'll really make you deduct it over 4 just so we can confuse you even more. Instead of just saying it's a 3-year schedule, you get it in 3 years. But instead, what we get
Right.
is you get a half of what you should have gotten in the first year you bought it. Then you get
Right.
2 full years. Then you get another half. So it becomes 4 years to get your full deduction, even though we call it a 3-year schedule. But when I was doing taxes, and we could go back to the 90s, but I was doing taxes all through the 2000s, the Section 179 deduction was like $10,000 a year. Then the Republicans would get in office and they'd make it 15 or 12.5. It would change constantly. So you were always chasing this. And it was kind of a big deal. You knew if you bought a truck, you could just about wipe out your tax that year. Then the Democrats would get in office and they'd make it 5,000 again. They always wanted it to be less. So it was back and forth and you never knew what to expect. Do you know what the Section 179 limit is now? So we're 10,000, 15,000. I remember once 20,000, which we thought was just huge. Do you know what that deduction is now? The limit on
I
that.
want to say it's more than what is it? I have no idea.
It is 2.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
How and why did it go so high, Mr. Rutherford?
Well, here's the thing. If you're going to do this, if you're going to say the Section 179 is so big, and for our industry, that's huge. You know, I could, think about a car hauler. We have a bunch of car haulers. You can spend $500,000 on a truck and trailer now for car hauling. $400,000 to $500,000.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
for sure you can. Yeah.
You are now allowed to write off the entire thing the first year, which I'm all for. But if we're going to do this, why don't we just eliminate depreciation completely? It's a really, really complicated, it's a mess. There's all kinds of rules around it. And in essence, when a Section 179 deduction is this big, for the most part, we've just eliminated the depreciation system. You just get to expense it like you would anything else. Well, then why not just get rid of the whole system?
Did we have this depreciation over a number of years because people pay for stuff over time? They buy something and they pay for it over a certain period of time?
No, here's the other goofy thing about it. It wasn't really tied to how you pay for things. It was tied to how long something should last.
Well, right, correct. The useful time period.
Correct.
Right.
So the general rule was supposed to be anything that lasts longer than a year should be depreciated, not expensed. Well, that never worked out exactly right, because who's to say that I can't make a laptop last for 10 years? I can. Or whatever it has. I can make a truck last for 30 years if I want. But we tied it to a 3-year depreciation schedule, mostly because fleets bought and sold trucks in 3 to 4 years. That was their useful life. But that's not the useful life of the truck. So now the second buyer has to depreciate it again for 3 years. And the third buyer and the fourth buyer. Depreciation never ends. Even if I buy a truck that's 35 years old today, I'm still supposed to depreciate it again. And it's just overly complicated. Then we have the Section 179. Then we have something called bonus depreciation, which gets even more complicated. But yeah, we raised the rate on the Section 179 to $2.5 million now.
Wow.
But it's a little more complicated than that, because it doesn't really end at $2.5 million. It starts being indexed at $2.5 million and finally completely runs out at $4 million. So we could complicate it a little more.
Well, it's good. It's good to complicate things even more.
Right.
I mean, I need less clarity in my life.
Yeah, I did the research and had everything sitting here waiting for me to read through, and I started reading through it, and I thought, I'll never figure this out. It is so, and this is
well,
only the changes. This isn't like trying to understand the whole tax code. I'm just trying to understand the changes. This is another reason why, as soon as Trump named this thing the big, beautiful bill, I was against it. I hate that we write bills like this. And then people are forced to vote on things where there might be 20 or 30% of the stuff in that bill they don't agree with and wouldn't vote for.
Right.
Hi, I'm Kevin Rutherford. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe or leave a comment below. It really helps us get the show out to more people. If you'd like to get the show, the full show, ad-free, you can sign up with the link below.